Okay, this was supposed to be a cupped whisper video, but in the process of setting up, I noticed that my microphone was not sitting in my stand properly. It just wasn't doing it, and I couldn't figure out why until I saw like the biggest crack in my stand. Now, earlier today, I bumped into it by accident, and it actually fell, and it fell hard. And I now notice that there is a crack in it. A crack. So, it's not holding my microphone. Anytime I put it in, it just gets heavy and just falls right over. So, I thought maybe taping it together would work. That did not work. It kept on falling right over. And then after the tape didn't work, I couldn't find a rubber band or anything. So then I tried to make my own little rope or something, so maybe I can tie it together really, really tight. This didn't work either. It wasn't until I called my father and asked him if he has any Gorilla Glue, because I will be gluing this bitch together. I cannot afford any other expenses right now. I cannot. So if the Gorilla Glue don't work, then I'm just gonna have to find a better glue, but I will find a solution. But this is how much I love you guys. I was really trying to do this cupped whisper video because people have been requesting it, but it's not happening today because when I do a cupped whisper, I don't like to hold the microphone. I like to go from side to side without touching anything. And anyway, so but next video I got you guys. Well, once I get the Gorilla Glue. So, but I will make this a gum chewing video. I will chew this gum as long as I can because recently gum chewing is just not my thing. It actually makes me nauseous. Patreon family knows why, but yeah. So let's get into this video though. So as you can see by the title, I had one of the worst dashing days of my life, and it happened yesterday. And yesterday was Sunday. I dashed all day. But please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me see who actually listens to the entire video. Let me know in the comment section which story got you. Like, which one did you say, damn? It's 9:30 at night. Everyone's home upstairs. It's loud. I don't know what to tell y'all. I'll be out another week, so just bear with me. If you like longer videos and you want a video every single week, no matter what, think about joining my Patreon, and remember to check out my merch store. Dashing story number 1. And for those who are asking questions about the whole tax situation, just to give everyone a ballpark figure, I did ask my accountant, my family accountant, and he said usually it's 10% of whatever you made from DoorDashing. So as an example, if you made $30,000 from DoorDashing, you would have to pay about $3,000 worth of taxes in April. And that being said, you also get gas deducted. I keep all my receipts, all the gas I put out, that would get deducted off that $3,000 I would owe. And then they also deduct mileage. There's this app that I used. It's called Stride. And Stride will document the miles you spent in one day. And actually, too, if you want to, it will actually tally everything you made in that one day. And then it will story number one. And so yesterday, I decided to dash all day. I got up maybe like 7:30, and I was up and out maybe by like 8:30, some minutes to 9. It was really hot yesterday, but I also noticed that like on Sundays, DoorDash is popping, especially in the mornings, like for breakfast, Dunkin' Donuts, Denny's, IHOP, all of it. So since I haven't been working much because it has been very, 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 very hot, yesterday I was determined to do a 12-hour shift. Okay. I must have had on my forehead or a hat or whatever that said, "Fuck with Majestic today." Just do it. Just fuck with her. Because nothing, like everything was a disaster yesterday. Story number one. The first story is it was a McDonald's order, and I found the street of the house. Everything was fine. When I started counting down the numbers, I always start doing that first, like if it's 21, I'll start looking from like 10, and so I can figure which side of the house, what side of the street the house might be on. So when I get closer, I was saying, please don't be this house, please don't be this house, please don't be this house. And the house that I did not want it to be ended up being the house I did not want it to be. It looked like Bates Motel at its finest. Like, I didn't want to get out my car. Now, the problem was this, that on the DoorDash app, it said suite number 2. That usually means it's like if the house is like number 13, there's usually 2 doors. One is suite A or suite 2 or suite A or suite B. But usually they'll say like to the right, to the left, up or down. And so I go up the stairs and I noticed that there was nothing that said which one was apartment or suite A or suite B. There was one apartment downstairs and there was one upstairs. When I got up to the porch, the front door was open. That's how I knew there was one door downstairs and one upstairs. The stairs leading upstairs, I kid you not, it must have been, it looked like after the second step, I would have fell straight through and nobody would ever find my body. Like, I kid you not, it was creepy. There was cobwebs everywhere. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This house came out of a fucking horror movie. Or they used it one point of time or something. So anyway, I'm like, I'm not going in here. I don't give a damn about DoorDash that bad. I'm not doing it. So I'm texting a lady or whoever, and I'm like, which door is yours? And she was like, upstairs. I said, okay, well, I'll leave the food on the steps. And she was like, no. The person was like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, well, I gotta go. I have other orders in the car. And that was actually true. But the point is, I wasn't entering this house and I wasn't going upstairs or downstairs. It just wasn't happening. So then this guy comes out completely fucking naked. Completely naked. Completely naked. Completely naked. I mean, balls down to the steps. He's like, you're not gonna leave my fucking food downstairs. Now I had my phone in my hand, and actually I was in the process of taking a picture to prove that I left it down there. But as soon as that door opened, something told me to hit that record button on my phone, and I did. And he was like, and he came out butt ass naked. I kid you not, balls hitting every single step as he was coming down. Now as he's coming down, I'm backing the fuck up. Okay, so he was like, you're gonna bring it up to me. And I'm saying to myself, well, if that's the case, why the fuck did you come downstairs? And I said to him, I am not coming down. I'm not coming upstairs. He said to me, well, if you don't, I'm gonna tell DoorDash and I never got my food and blah blah blah. I said, well, you can do that. I said, fucking step. Are you kidding me right now? I said you can do what you want. I'm gonna send this tape into DoorDash, and this is actually true, because if DoorDash knows that you're trying to scam, you'll be banned from using DoorDash again. So he was like, you're recording? I said, yeah. He said, and then walked upstairs and just slammed the door. He never reported me, but I was like checking, because I was actually gonna take that recording and send it into DoorDash, but I kept it just in case. And actually I snapped a picture of the mailbox and the address and the order, and so I have it all together just in case I get a DoorDash email, because your girl is not the one. That was story number 1. Story number 2, 4 bottles of vodka, right? And so automatically when I looked at the address, I knew I was going to the, what do you call them, like a country club or the country golf club. Let's just say it's where rich people live. Okay, it's a place that your girl does not belong. But I go and I delivered to her before, because when I got to the area and I looked at the name again, I noticed that this is the same lady. Now the problem with this country club like area, it's like it has like the nicest condos or townhouses I have ever seen in my life, okay? But it's also a gated community, which means you need a code to get into the gates. Guess who didn't provide the person with the code? And so the first time I delivered to her, she actually met me at the gate. This time she did not. And like, I'm calling the customer now because I realized she didn't come downstairs, or she didn't come to the gate. And so I text this person 3 times. I called her 3 times. Now once that happens, DoorDash actually wants you to sit there. I think my countdown was like 10 minutes, and now I'm pissed because I've been sitting there for at least 25 minutes. So now I have to wait another 10 minutes, which will be 35 minutes, and now I'm way over the time that I'm supposed to deliver this liquor to this lady. So finally, I'm sitting there, and I was just gonna say, to hell with it, take it back to the store, write a paragraph, about tell DoorDash why I returned it, and just kept it moving. So then this other guy comes in, and he's actually Uber Eats, and he says to me, and this is the exact words he says to me, "These fucking rich idiots, like you would think they would give us people the code to deliver their food, but they're the first person to complain they never got their food." And so I'm like, well, how do you get in? And then he actually gave me the guest code. So now I'm in. So now let's just say it took me a total of 40 minutes in this one particular spot. So when I finally get to her townhouse, right, she has all these steps. Now I'm actually really pissed because now it's like 45 minutes, and then I'm ringing her doorbell, and she's just fucking chilling. She's just chilling. Like, she's taking her sweet ass time coming down the steps, and I said to her, I called you 3 times. Like, I couldn't hold it in because I saw the entitlement on her face. I'm like, I called you 3 times. She was like, okay. I said I texted you 3 times and I called you 3 times to let you know that you left me at that gate for 40 minutes. And she said, well, what's the solution? I said, well, miss, you only have 2. Either you walk down to the gate like you did last time. And she was like, I thought you looked familiar. Or I told her that you have to give the guest code, and she's like, is there a third option? What the fuck do you mean, is there a third option? No, there's no third option. Yeah, the third option is you can get your lazy ass in the car and go get the shit yourself. Like, what do you mean? this long, and it's like, and then our husband, and then I'm like, okay, well now I need your license because I cannot physically give her the liquor without scanning her license. So now I gotta wait for her to go through her house and look for her license. Meanwhile, she had this black dog. I don't know what type of dog it was, but it was skinny as fuck. It was black. Did I mention it was skinny? And it was as tall as a human. I kid you not, like that dog would have came up to here to me if like it had the chance. And it was just a drooling, like, yeah, step into this house, I'ma fuck you up. And at this point now, I'm just like, I got a dog drooling like I'm a fucking steak. I have this lady, which I now realize is drunk as fuck. Her husband is like a hippie from the 60s. I don't know, just free spirit, talking about, oh, you know, everyone needs just love. And I'm like, license, please. Now, like, I'm losing my patience because now the total is an hour I spent at this lady's house, and after she's saying, oh, well, maybe my phone doesn't work and we need to call the phone company, and wait a minute, let me get the house phone. I said, lady, I don't have time. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and wait for you to call AT&T or Verizon. Get the fuck out. I gotta say though, she did give me a hell of a tip, but it was just not even worth it. Like that $20 tip was like, no, I needed that. That was a good tip. Let's cut that one. But still, it just. Let's move on to story number 3. So story number 3. So anyway, this delivery was a Taco Bell, right? And so I had no problem with the address. Now, when I got to the address, I realized it was an apartment building. Okay, cool. Let me just break down my apartment building, like here, right? In my apartment building, there are different streets because my apartment complex is really, really big. That being said, none of our streets sound the same. Like, not a one. Not a one. I will never forget it. This place, it was 17 Woodstock, right? Now the GPS took me to the condos, whatever, right? But the problem is this, there was Woodstock Avenue, Woodstock Drive, Woodstock Place. Like, who thought it was a good idea to name all these streets exactly the same, but the difference is like Park, Drive, Place, like what? Anyway, my GPS actually stopped me at a 17 Woodstock, right? I took a picture of the food. I made sure I took a picture of the house 17, and I went about my business. It was like not even 10 seconds later, the customer said, you delivered to the wrong house. So I automatically make a U-turn. I was still in the complex. I automatically made a U-turn and I went back to get the food. It wasn't touched. It wasn't anything. Like, the person's house I delivered to probably didn't even know I was even there. And so I text back. I said, I'm very confused because it says 17 and my GPS is stopping me right here and it says 17 Woodstock, you know. He was like, yeah, I get that a lot, but the area that I'm in, we don't have a street for it yet. So let me get this straight. So this, you've heard this before. This has happened to you before, and you don't think to write that in the directions. Like, what? How am I supposed to find you if like your street really hasn't been built? And actually, after he like called me and like directed me, there would have been no way anyone would have found that. And I'm glad there was like the text message through DoorDash because the DoorDash app, because now they can see was 17, and on top of that, in the whole complex, he was telling me that there was four different apartments with 17 on it. Like, really? Okay. Do you know, all day I kept checking back the DoorDash because I've heard that people got like deactivated, or like, DoorDash will give them an email, or or whatever. There's actually two YouTubes. The two incidents actually on DoorDash has been really big. One, you guys probably saw it. It's about this Army veteran who, I think she worked like in a medical office or something. Anyway, she lied and said she didn't get the food, and she didn't get her food, and the guy actually hand delivered it to her. And she lied and said she never got it, but she did. And the guy got fired, so he went back to ask like why she did that. Because people out here are ready to scam people. Like, that's popular, that's going around. And then there's another one. Type in DoorDash confronts CVS worker. Same situation. The lady said that she never got the food. The dasher actually hand delivered the food. That's why now any hand deliveries, everything's on recording. Everything's being recorded, because I'm not playing these games. I am not. But that DoorDasher got fired too. But then CVS actually reviewed the cameras and found out that the CVS worker was actually lying. She actually got her food. Like, these two incidences, it was proven that the people got their food. They're just lying, or they just want to scam people, or they find this shit funny. But see, it's not funny when people approach your job, and now your job is in jeopardy because both these people got fired. And I don't feel bad. Like, you messed with someone else's income. So when it happens to you, why should we care? So I make sure I cover all my tracks. I always text people yeah, I'm on my way, or just giving you heads up, I made it to McDonald's, but your food's not ready. I need to have people need to have a record. DoorDash is going to have a record of everything. Even when I drop off food now, I text, I hope you enjoy your food and have a good night. We're not playing these games, because the one thing you cannot deny is receipts or evidence, and I will have it all. So that was that one. I delivered to the wrong place, but got it in time. Got his food, but the problem was this: now I had a stack order, and now all those orders got stacked up. But then the next one, this little bitch, this next one, I went to McDonald's, and it was really, really busy, right? So when I got there, I informed the customer that McDonald's was still making their food. And she wrote back oh, that means it's gonna be hot and fresh when it gets here. I'm like, yes, you're my only order for now, so it will be. As soon as it's ready, I'll bring it to you. She was like, perfect. So it did take them a little while, but then I text her, okay, McDonald's is done, I'm on my way. She goes, okay, great. She was like, if you don't mind, because I'm having a pool party with my kids, can you please go through the gate and leave it by the garage? No problem. I had absolute, and she goes, thank you. I had no problem finding her house. I had no problem, I got quiet because there's this loud car that comes around here at this hour, and I think I hear it, and it is loud for no reason. Anyway, I find the lady's house, and then when I get out the car, there was two things I noticed: that she had this white gate, but everything was locked, and then she had 3 dogs. No, ma'ams, we're not playing these games. Your dogs is free outside the gate or inside the gate, and you want me to go to the gate and put the food down when you have your 3. Your dogs can be cute as a button. Your dogs might not even have dripping wet because she came out the pool with her bathing suit, and she just was like, I hope you're happy you made me get out of the pool and it's hot just to grab my food. And what are you attached for if you can't follow instructions? Now see, once she said that, I knew to start filming. I knew to hit the record button because I just knew shit was gonna go left field. But I did have the phone like face down. I didn't have it in her face. So I said to her, let me ask you this dumb question since you think I'm so stupid. I said to her, how was I supposed to get to the gate if you had the gate locked? And then I said, and as you think about that one, let me ask you another question. How was I going to get through the gate when you have your 3 dogs roaming around barking at me? She said to me as she snatched the food, she said, you know what, I'm gonna call DoorDash. It's the second time someone threatening with this bullshit. I'm gonna call DoorDash and I'm gonna get you fired because I'm gonna say that I didn't get my food and you were late. I said to her, well, you can do all of that. I said, because as you can see, I put my phone up, I said this whole conversation has been recorded, and on top of that, all those messages that we were exchanging back and forth about how fresh your food's gonna be, they have all that on record. She said, that actually goes to them. I said, yeah, so as we speak, I said, I am sending DoorDash this so you can sit there and tell them your plan because it's all on video. And she was like, you're a fucking bitch. And she just stormed out. Now, how am I the fucking bitch when you were about to try to get me fired and lied, but then you got mad that I was recording? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. What story are we on? 5, 4, I don't even know. The next story. So one thing about me, right? Because of my anxiety and I just know how people are. And my door dashing, by the way, I did try to screenshot all my orders that I accept and orders I do not accept, so you guys can see like how I pick and choose, you know, because some of you guys can't figure out like how my gas is lasting me long and all this stuff. And I have a system. Matter of fact, I bumped into this lady and she asked me, and when I explained to her that I don't go no more than 4 miles, so she was like, so you basically just do all the apartments? I said, yep. And she was like, that is so smart of you. So I don't go no more than 3 miles, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I said to her, and then one thing popped up. I said, you see this? I said, it's $2 for 8 miles. But then I had to come back. That's 16 miles. She goes, oh no, now what gas prices? I said, exactly. Make it make sense. And she said, oh my God, I love that. Make it make sense. And then this guy in back of her that had like 3 kids with him, he's like, yeah, he was like, that's gonna be the new slogan for the school year. Make it make sense. I love it. I love how I give people encouragement or whatever. But anyway, and so okay, so one thing about me, like if I don't know the point is I kept forgetting to screenshot my stuff. I'm not a vlogger. I don't take pictures of my meals. I don't hold the camera. I'm a very private person. Matter of fact, Patreon, this was the first time they entered my world. They saw part of my apartment, my new apartment. I showed them like my family. You know, I went through pictures. Like that's the first time I actually opened up. It takes me a while. So on that note, I don't accept any orders, and that I don't know the restaurant or never heard of it. But then I noticed that I was like declining like the same ones. I guess it kept bouncing back to me. Like I would decline it and then it would bounce back to me. So you know, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually accept these 2. Let me do it. It was 2 orders that kept coming in. One was called it was like the gyros place, at gyros place I think it was called. And the next one I never heard of either. It was like Gary's pickle and dill or some shit. was, it said it was only like 833 yards away, so it wasn't far at all. But the thing about it is, when I got the first order, it was a stack order, and it was for the same person. So I was like, all right. And the total, after I did both of them, the total was about $30. She was tipping well, and she wasn't far. She was about maybe 2.5 miles. She wasn't far at all. And so okay, so I put in the GPS and I go looking for the gyro place first. My GPS kept spitting me right in front of my old apartment when I'm in now. I kept saying, why does it keep putting me here? Across the street is where there's a pizza store and a Chinese restaurant, but there was no gyro place. So I'm circling, and it keeps saying recalculating, and I'm like, what is happening? So finally I pull over and I decide to go into the pizza place. Please hold. Sorry, allergies. I decided to go into the pizza place and I asked him, I'm like, do you know where the gyro place is? And he starts smiling and laughing, and he's like, it's me. Now I don't find this shit funny because I know you as Bada Bing Pizza Store. Since when are you now called like the gyro place? And if that's the case, when are you gonna switch your sign? Like, I was looking for this place for like 20 minutes. I was looking for it. And I said to him, well, maybe you should, I don't know, put the gyro place sign somewhere. But see, I didn't have time to pick her or argue. So I got the gyro. I left. Then the pickle spot was only like another 900 yards. It wasn't far. So now I'm back on the main street, and I'm like, it's on this street. I'm like, I lived on the street for 7 years and I've never seen a pickle spot. Y'all, I'm going up and down this one street again, up and down, up and down, up and down. I couldn't find it. It was to the point that the day was running so shitty that I was just gonna unassign myself from this whole delivery and just say fuck it. But then I'm like, nah, I'm not going out like no sucker. Fuck that shit. So then I decided to call the store, and then as soon as it rang, the person said, you must be DoorDash. And I'm like, where are you located? And she's like, where are you exactly right now? I said to her, I'm in the ShopRite parking lot. She was like, no, we're in the flea market parking lot, which was literally right across the street. And I said, but I was over there as well, because that's actually where I sit and wait for my orders, in the flea market parking lot, because there's a lot of stores around there in that complex. So it's a big enough parking lot that I can park my car somewhere and wait for orders and be out of everyone's way in business. So I said to her, I was around there. I was around the ice cream and the Chinese and the Jamaican spot. And she's like, oh no, honey, we are located inside the flea market. Okay, one thing about this flea market, it's only open on Saturday and Sunday. And it's only been open for like maybe 4 or 5 months. How was I supposed to know you're located inside the flea market? There's no pickle sign, there's no Gary sign, there's nothing that had to do with butter chips, dill pickle, nothing to do with fucking pickles. Like, shit like this makes me mad, because it's like, you know, you make us feel like idiots, but like, how are we supposed to know that you're located inside the fucking flea market? I just can't. So then I said, okay, but then it dawned on me, get like people buying this and that, just a whole lot of crap. Trust me, I love me some crap, but I was not in the mood yesterday on Sunday for this crap. And so finally I called back. I said, where are you located? Are you in the 17th row, the 4th row? She was like, no, we're actually down on the 2nd floor. I didn't even know the flea market had 2 floors. Like, what? The time I did all of that, the only thing that saved me, I think, from this order was that when I got to the lady house, it was clear that she had money. It was clear as day. I don't need to go into why she had money, right? It must have been maybe like 1 p.m. now, this particular order. And she came to the door drunk as hell, right? But it was like a cue, like, oh my god, you're here, oh my god, I love you, I'm so hungry. And then I'm like, I apologize for the delay. And she's like, let me guess. And she's like, slapping her hand on her knee. And I don't find none of this funny, but the fact that I know that she's rich, I'm like, let me laugh with her because maybe she'll give me a good tip. And I'm like, what? She was like, let me find out you couldn't find the pickle store. I said, do you know where it's located? She said, actually I don't. She said, but I was hoping that the Dashers would know because all I know is I am so drunk and I'm gonna fuck up this gyro. Her words, not mine. And I'm gonna fuck up these pickles. And all I saw on the app when I saw pickles, I was like, I need to have these pickles. Now, the funny thing about this pickle order, she must have gotten every single sample of every single pickle in that shop. I kid you not. And then I said, okay, well, let me go back in the car and get your pickles because it was heavy and it was actually dripping. And I had the pickles actually in the DoorDash bag. So I went back and she sat down, her legs crawled. I mean, she had no care in the world. She had nowhere to be. It was like that life we all want to live. Like, I don't have to go to work tomorrow and I'm rich and I don't need to. She was sweet as hell. She was the nicest lady possible. I mean, she was just so damn happy she got her. She goes, oh, don't worry about it. She was like, whatever. She actually gave me $30 in my hand for a tip, and then she gave me additional $20 on the app. Again, rich people. I love you, rich people. I love you. So, but that was a mess because like I said, I was over an hour late with that one. Ridiculous. So that was that order. Oh, this was the best one. This was the best one. So I was delivering this big McDonald's order and I must have had like 5 bags. Because remember, DoorDash, you get 10% of the order. That's how much we get. And so, and the order's small. I think the smallest order I got was like for $2.75. So you can kind of figure out like how much the bill is or whatever. But anyway, I don't know if maybe he had his kids and the kids' friends. I personally don't know what was going on. I don't give a shit. The point is that when I got to McDonald's, it was a really big order. And I can just, because sometimes, depending on how they order it, you can like clearly see what they ordered. And I automatically knew it was a lot of kids because there was a lot of Happy Meals and this and that and no pickles, no onions. You can just kind of tell it's a kid's order, right? And so I wanted to make sure that, one thing, I don't check people's orders, but I always can tell, like, if there are supposed to be 8 drinks, I should be holding 8 drinks. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So anyway, when they got the order ready and I even texted him, I said, it's a really big order. They're still working on it, but I'll be there as soon as possible. When the order was finished, actually, a couple of the guys from McDonald's actually walked out to my car to help me bring this order. And so as the last order got in the car, right? The last bag. The McDonald's crew, they ran in. As soon as I pulled off, it starts to pour. It was pouring rain. I mean, thunder, lightning, flooding, all within like 3 minutes. I knew that was gonna be my last order. It was not though. But anyway, I was like, oh, I could barely see. I had to pull over for a second. It was coming down really hard. So anyway, I realized that it wasn't gonna lighten up, so I decided to keep driving. I get to the guy's house. Now, I made a U-turn just so I can be on the same side of the street as the house, so I can bring the bags in as fast as I could to the doorstep anyway. Do you know the man opened up the door? And you know what? I don't even expect it, but you would think he'd be like, oh, can I help? But he didn't. He just sat there and watched me. He watched me make about 4 or 5 trips to the car with the bags. And there must have been like 18 kids behind him. Like, good God, there was a lot of kids. But what made me mad is, as I'm putting him down, I'm not handing it down, I'm putting him down because he's not budging. And I'm not going to ask where you want to put it. I'm just going to put it on the floor and keep it moving. Because you can kind of tell, like, people's moods. And by this point, it was like 5 o'clock, and I've been out since 7, or 8:30, whatever. I was over it. So after I put the last bag down, he had the audacity. Now, remember I told you it was flooding, thunder, lightning, all of it. He says, just like this, he looked down. He said, my fucking bags are wet. And then I turned to the weather and I said, enjoy your night, sir. Like, what did you expect? You sat there and watched me bring the bags out. You didn't help. And then after I bring the last one in, you want to say, well, my bags are wet. Get the fuck out of here with that. The entitlement of it all. Like, my bags are wet. So you expect me to have a magical umbrella that just happens to follow me and my food everywhere you go. And the thing about it is, like, the kids wanted to run out and help me bring them. He was like, no, that's her job. And I'm cool with that, because I understand, like, people see delivery people like the stuff on the bottom of your shoe. You know what I mean? They think you're nothing. You think you know. They think you're stupid, or you don't have IQ, and that's why you're a delivery person. Like, don't play with me. Don't fucking play with me. Like, I can't. That was that story. And then in between, I had problems finding this house. And then finally, when I found it, there was nobody there. But as soon as I walked up to the house and put the food down, they must have been hiding in their car or something, or I don't know. But all of a sudden I hear, oh, thank you, sexy mama. It must have been like 10 guys. I don't know where they came from, but they were like in 3 or 4 different cars. And as soon as he opened the door, you swear it was Snoop Dogg in that car. If you don't get what I'm saying, then that story wasn't for you. So let's keep it moving. I had a lady come to the door with just panties, nothing else. Yeah. Oh, this was the best one, and this is actually the one that I had to go home after this. I was completely done. So, this complex that I actually delivered for, the last delivery, it's actually the complex that I wanted to move into. It's maybe like 5 minutes away from this place. It's really nice, and I really wanted it, but just actually sold like they just rented like the last unit, and they did tell me they would keep me on record just in case I want to move like in a year or something. I can be on top of the waiting list or whatever. But anyway, that complex is very complicated. I have to say, it's one big maze. It really is. It actually reminds me more of like a college campus than anything. And so I found the place. The guy actually gave great instructions. He's like, as soon as you come in, make the left on building 3, which is the last one on the left by the pool. Like, he actually gave me, like, I appreciate people like that, because see, if everyone was like that, and then everybody would get their food ASAP, you know. And so I have to sit here and I have to laugh because I just, people are just so, anyway. So I had to be buzzed in, right? So I hit the door, and when I walked in, I wasn't sure if it was upstairs or downstairs, right? So I'm actually looking, and I walk a little further, and the guy said no, but the way he said no, it was like in a sexual no, like something was being interrupted. So I didn't think he was talking to me. He was like, if you know you're Majestic with my food, you went too far. And so as I packed up, I said, oh, do you know, how do I say this? The man who grabbed the food, and this is again, when I heard his voice, I knew to turn on my phone. Again, if I'm handing you directly, I need proof that I handed you the food without, you know, being obvious. So I put the recording on or whatever. When I get the guy who was reaching out for the food, he was getting special treatment, right? And I'm saying to myself, the audacity of it all, like, how you gonna be doing or getting special treatment and getting pleasure and pleased while you're waiting for your food? You would think you would stop. No, the man had the door open. The guy was on his knees. I can't. I'm over with this video. We're done. I love you guys for watching. Until next